Alright, let's jump right into this. With the first pick of the 2010 NFL Draft, the St. Louis Rams select Sam Bradford, quarterback, Oklahoma. Alright, this pick's pretty simple. It's kind of a lock. Everybody knows this pick is going to be Sam Bradford. The only question is whether or not they can get a deal done before the draft. So, with the second pick in the 2010 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Ndamukong Suh, defensive tackle, Nebraska. Alright, Ndamukong Suh going to the Lions. I want to say that I think this pick should be Russell Okung, but it doesn't look like it's going to be Russell. It looks like the Detroit Lions are really into Jeff Backus, and it's a shame because Matthew Stafford is not going to get that protection that he needs. But if you're going to go with anybody else, Ndamukong Suh is the best player on the board. This team really needs to stop the run, and Ndamukong Suh can come in and stop them, plug up that defensive line very effectively. So, with the third pick of the 2010 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Gerald McCoy, defensive tackle, Oklahoma. Okay, it's no secret that Tampa Bay really wants to land either Ndamukong Suh or Gerald McCoy, and it's a very good chance that they're going to have the chance to pick one of them, if not a chance to have an option to pick one of them with both of them on the board. It looks like Gerald McCoy is going to be the guy that falls, but I really think that if Ndamukong Suh and Gerald McCoy are available here, I think they go Ndamukong Suh. So with the fourth pick in the 2010 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Russell Okung, left tackle, Oklahoma State. So talk about a Big 12 sweep at the beginning of this draft. Russell Okung goes to Washington, who acquired Donovan McNabb, which took out Jimmy Clausen as being a possibility here, and they get the best left tackle in this draft in Russell Okung. A simple pick, an easy pick, and the best pick for Washington to make. If the Lions decide to go with Russell Okung at 2 overall, I think Trent Williams or Brian Bulaga would be options here. So, with the fifth pick of the 2010 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Brian Bulaga, left tackle, Iowa. Alright, so there are reports coming out of Kansas City that if Brian Bulaga is available at number 5, Kansas City will select him. There are also connections between Scott Pioli and Kirk Ferentz. The Iowa connection there is very a factor in this draft, and I think Kansas City gets Brian Bulaga, who I like Brian Bulaga. I put him very close with Trent Williams. I kind of consider those guys 2A and 2B, but I think Bulaga goes ahead of Trent Williams just barely, though, and only because of the Iowa connection in Kansas City. So, with the 6th selection in the 2010 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks and new coach Pete Carroll select Trent Williams, left tackle, Oklahoma. Alright, I really believe that C.J. Spiller or Eric Berry is a very good possibility here at number 6 if Seattle wants to take that risk. There's a risk that Seattle will not be able to get Trent Williams later in this draft. I believe they have the 14th pick, but there's also a risk that they won't be able to get C.J. Spiller, and Eric Berry is obviously a need and the best player available right now. Will they risk it? Won't they risk it? I don't know, but I tend to think that Trent Williams is a safer pick to go. They need an offensive tackle, and I think they can get C.J. Spiller with that 14th overall pick. So, with the 7th selection of the 2010 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Eric Berry, safety, Tennessee. Alright, so Eric Berry going to Cleveland here. I think a lot of people have this penciled in. I believe a lot of people think this is as farthest that Eric Berry can fall. I tend to think that it's low for Eric Berry. This guy is a one-of-a-kind safety, once-in-a-lifetime, compares to Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, the best of the bests of the last 10 years. This guy is legit. He is a ball-hawking safety and one that Cleveland desperately needs, as does a bunch of teams in the top 7, but positional value is a very big thing. A lot of teams won't take a safety that high in the draft. I think Cleveland does. So with the 8th selection in the 2010 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders and Al Davis select Bruce Campbell, left tackle, Maryland. Oh, the great Al Davis strikes again. If it wasn't for Al Davis, Bruce Campbell would not even be a top 25 pick. He has amazing measurables, is a fantastic athlete, but is a terrible football player on tape. This guy does nothing well and is just an athletic freak. There's nothing football related that would make you take this kid in the top 10. I give him a 2nd round grade, but Al Davis loves these kind of players. I really hope for the sake of the Oakland Raiders, they do not take Bruce Campbell. But hey, what better way than to protect an overrated prospect in Jamarcus Russell by putting an overrated prospect in Bruce Campbell at his blind side. So good luck with that, Al. So with the 9th selection in the 2010 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Jimmy Clausen, quarterback, Notre Dame. I believe Buffalo fans are going to be excited to get Jimmy Clausen. I really like Jimmy Clausen. I think he's better than Sam Bradford, but I think a lot of teams are putting Sam Bradford on this pedestal. Jimmy Clausen is a pro franchise-ready quarterback right now. He's a very good quarterback and will make Buffalo a better team. Not a playoff contending AFC East team, but a better team right now. If not Jimmy Clausen, they must go left tackle. Maybe Anthony Davis. I think he's a little bit of a reach here, but Jimmy Clausen's the pick, and I really like Jimmy Clausen out of Notre Dame. So, with the 10th selection, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Derek Morgan, defensive end, Georgia Tech. Jacksonville, to me, is the big mystery of this draft. I really don't know what they're going to do, but I have a feeling they're going to go with the best player available, and I think at this point, the best player available on their board is going to be Derek Morgan, and I think it's the right pick. They need to get some pass rush, and Derek Morgan can definitely come in and do that. A guy like Dez Bryant would also be a pick here, but I think that's a little high for Dez. Maybe even Joe Hayden, the cornerback from Florida, best player available. I really don't know what they're going to do, but I'm going Derek Morgan. So, with the 11th pick in the draft, the Denver Broncos select, and here's my shocker pick, Maurkice Pouncey, center, offensive guard, Florida. I saw this pick in another mock draft, and it really got me thinking. In the top 15 every year, we get a shocker pick. You can go all the way back to Ted Ginn in Miami taking over Brady Quinn and so on and so forth. And I think that Josh McDaniels is the kind of guy that says positional value be damned, I'm going with the need, and this team needs a center. And Maurkice Pouncey is the best center in this draft. I tend to think that he might be the best offensive lineman in this draft outside of Russell Okung. He can play offensive guard, left or right, play center, and I think he can play right tackle in the future in the NFL. So this guy can be moved around. He's a hell of an insurance policy, and I think Josh McDaniels knows that. And I think he's a smart enough guy to take the need over, let's say, the Dan Williams or the Dez Bryant, which could be a flashier pick, but Maurkice Pouncey is the perfect pick for the Denver Broncos. So, with the 12th selection in the 2010 NFL Draft, my Miami Dolphins select Dan Williams, nose tackle, Tennessee. So with the big splash trade that the Miami Dolphins did today, giving 2 second-round picks to the Denver Broncos for Brandon Marshall, wide receiver, and Dez Bryant is no longer an option at number 12 for Miami, so they move to their second biggest need, and that is nose tackle. With Jason Ferguson being older and suspended for the first bunch games of the NFL season, the Dolphins must get a nose tackle, and since they no longer have that second-round pick, a Cam Thomas, a Linval Joseph, or a Terrell Troop is no longer a possibility, and the Dolphins must go Dan Williams early in this draft. I think it's a perfect pick, and I don't think it's a reach. Dan Williams, nose tackle, it's a need more and more in the NFL with more teams going to the 3 and 4, and the Dolphins are a 3-4 team that do it very well, that can get 3-4 edge pass rushers later in the draft. Dan Williams is the perfect pick for the Miami Dolphins here, and I don't think there's anybody else other than Jason Pierre-Paul that could entice the Dolphins away from taking Dan Williams. So, with the 13th selection, the San Francisco 49ers select Joe Hayden, cornerback, Florida. Joe Hayden to San Francisco at 13, I believe, is the perfect selection for Joe Hayden. It's not a reach. It's not him falling. It's exactly where he should be picked. This guy's a top 15 draft pick, and the San Francisco 49ers get a fantastic player and fill a need doing so. He's the number 1 cornerback on everyone's mock draft and everyone's board, and this guy's a perfect pick for San Francisco. So, with the 14th pick in the 2010 draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Dez Bryant, wide receiver, Oklahoma State. So Dez Bryant takes a tumble a little bit after Miami gets their guy in Brandon Marshall, and I do not think the Denver Broncos are going to want to draft another diva receiver after getting rid of Brandon Marshall. The only other team I think that could take a risk on Dez Bryant would be the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I think Seattle's a perfect place for him to go. Pete Carroll is desperate to find a playmaker on offense, and whoever they have at quarterback next year is really going to want a wide receiver, and Dez Bryant is the number 1 wide receiver in this draft. I think C.J. Spiller is a big option here. And if C.J. Spiller goes ahead of Dez Bryant, I could see Dez falling a little bit, maybe down to the 20s. But nonetheless, I really like Dez Bryant here. So that's going to do it for this 1 through 14. Coming up, I have the 15 Giants taking a pick, and that's going to be the next mock draft. So until then, KWDOLFAN2010,